guys. Hey, Derek. Hey, Carol. How you doing? Daniela,
Hi, good afternoon, Rolonda.
how are you today?
I'm wonderful, and you?
Good. Very good.
I
Demare,
like the yellow.
hey, thank you. You know
Yeah, that's
what? It's
beautiful.
like the end of a season. I'm squeezing every piece of summer I can out. All those last little bright summer looking things. I'm putting them on. I
Right.
got on white pants too.
That's great. I wear white pants to therapy today, so
Yeah, and you know what? In California, where people are so laid back, it gets very confusing. But I called
yeah.
my mother in North Carolina and I said, Mom, I'm still wearing my white. She said, Well, listen, she said, I don't know what y'all doing out there on the West Coast. She said, but as far as I'm concerned, Labor Day comes the same time all over the country. So stop with the white. Hey, Murray, how you doing?
Hi, Murray.
Hey, Chuck, how are you? Sherelle made it in. Good, 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 good. So I'm glad you guys are here. I just wanted to, this week talk about, I don't know, maybe I was inspired by Patti LaBelle and Gladys. Did you hear those voices? Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah.
Talk about the power of a voice. Isn't that so? I tell you, if I could sing, y'all couldn't tell me anything. If I could sing like that, I tell you, I would just be Antoinette. You wouldn't be able to stand me. I'd be singing all the time. But it's funny. I love that Patti LaBelle. She was on my show and just sang her heart out. You can see some beautiful clips from that show on YouTube. But how I met Patty was so funny. Uh, Clinton was I think it was his first run and he'd won and they were doing the big party and Patti LaBelle was there and I got to go. And I snuck in the back because I wanted to see Patti LaBelle. And so I snuck in there and I heard she was in this tent getting her makeup done. So I was doing a talk show at the time. You would think I was 10 years old, but I peeked into the tent and there she was in the makeup chair. And she looked in the mirror and she saw me and I had these big old earrings on. She said, Girl, bring me those earrings. And I got to go in the tent and I said, Oh my God, you like these earrings? She said, Let me try them on. Do you know that she wore those earrings on stage to perform? I think it was Clinton's inauguration. And she never forgot that. And I never forgot it. She came to do my show after that. And she's just been the most remarkable person. I love her so much. But that's somebody who is truly using their voice. Hey, Brett Watts, welcome. Come on in here. Come on in. I also wanted to talk about voice because I put that little crazy picture in there with me with my mouth screaming in the correspondence that I sent you. With me, I swear I don't think I'm 2 years old, and my mouth is big as this, screaming. And I said my daddy taught me to roar, and I haven't stopped since. But it's true. When I was a little kid, I was speaking in complete sentences at 11 months, and always had that deep husky voice. And so my voice has always been like a phenomena. It's either it I used to think it was my greatest fault, because I wake up in the morning, I sound like a frog. I mean, boyfriend might turn around, think who am I sleeping with? But, as a kid, I was teased. They called me Froggy. Today I do animation and I actually play the chief of a frog tribe, know. So sometimes what we think are our faults can turn out to be our gifts, and how we lift our voices, how we use our voices. I know that just from having a natural tendency to talk and to use my voice in everything but singing, and I didn't get that chip, but I know the power of your voice. I know that the tone of your voice. I mean, I have spooked horses with just the tone of my voice. When they trying to buck and cut up, I'll let them know just in a tone. You know how your mama did you when you got in trouble? You know, your mama's voice cut through. A mother can hear their kid's voice in the middle of a shopping mall and know it's her kid. They say that more lives are saved because children won't wake up during a fire, but they'll wake up if they hear their mother's voice. A voice is everything. When I pick up that phone and I'm talking to my sweetie, that sound of that voice on the other end of that phone is everything. And we know that now. Voices give us comfort. They give us inspiration. You know, I hear Kamala's voice. I'm ready. Let's go. Some other voices I hear, it inspires me too. You know, but voices have a certain ring to them. And I say, hey, Ira, is that Fran? Come on in, Fran. Welcome, honey. But the
Hi.
hello. But the power of your voice is everything. Also, it's important. I think our voices are needed right now more than ever. And for various and sundry reasons. I think the obvious reasons is there's so much going on. And I think there's so many opinions. And I think our voices are needed more than ever before. We have a lot of decisions to make right now. We have to use our voices. You know, sometimes to say the things during this ever changing time that we never want to see again. It's important that you lift your voice right now and say, I will never do that crap again. I am never going to be here again. I'm never going to, or to lift your voice and say, doggone it, I've always wanted to do that. Now I'm free. My job is gone. I'm laid off. Let me take that chance now. Let me do it now. You know, sometimes life presents us, well, all the time, life presents us opportunities to really be happy. And sometimes it takes lifting your voice, saying yes or no to life and all that it brings us to figure out which way to go and to avoid those obstacles that suck the life out of you. You know, things will continue to suck the life out of you until you say, no, you're not going to treat me that way anymore. No, I'm not going to do that. That's lifting your voice too. And women, I'm especially talking to us. You know, something happens around adolescence that we're told. You know, that's been a tradition, I think, with women, that our voices have not counted. And that means that we don't make good decisions for ourselves sometimes because we're afraid somebody won't like us if we make that decision. We'll look crazy. We'll be too aggressive. They'll get upset if I have an opinion. Screw that. Now is not the time to be sheepish. It's also a time for change. Your voice can be used in so many ways. Your voice can be used to inspire younger people younger than you. I'm finding that, you know, when there are times where you just don't know which way to go and you're figuring it out, as long as you find something to be grateful for and somebody to help along the way, then you're going to be all right. You'll get on through and you will, I mean, it's just a good feeling when there's so much around us that makes us crazy. I mean, we have friends that are going through it. We have family members who are going through it. You know, we read on Facebook, somebody else going through it. Then we look at the health situation, the race situation, the election. It's okay to feel a little crappy right now, because you're picking it up. You can't help it. But you don't have to react by being quiet about it. Even if you say, I ain't gonna watch the news today. That's lifting of your voice too. I'm not gonna believe that crap I'm hearing again today. That's a choice using your voice to make your life more palatable. This is all about making your life palatable and being happy about the choices that you make. And like I said, I really speak to women because I want us to know that our voices are of value. You know, so many of us have been on that treadmill, getting that job done, making this happen, doing that, and placating everybody else's wishes and voices but our own. Sometimes we can use our voices to speak up for people who don't have one right now. Sometimes you're using your voice gives somebody else permission to say, it's okay to use mine. I don't know, I've spent my entire life trying to stick up for people. I guess that's why I was a news reporter for so many years in New York City and a talk show host and now a podcaster. You know, I always try to give voice to the voiceless. And that's what I did a lot. Well, you remember, Ian, a lot with my New York City reports. I mean, I think I did the very first story in the nation on pedophilia, child molestation, back when nobody wanted to talk about it. but those children were being abused again and again. And I had a pedophile at the Rahway State Prison call me and say, you need to do this story. I was at New Jersey Network at the time. It was the early 80s. And I was a cub reporter. And when I went in and I said, we need to do this story on pedophilia, they was like, what is pedophilia? I said, child molestation. They said, oh, no, 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 no. We're not going to talk about that. I said, but I'm a reporter. I'm supposed to use my voice for the voiceless. No, people don't want to talk about that during 6 o'clock, during dinner time. They would not let the pedophile had me. I went over to, they had to separate the pedophiles from a whole separate section of the prison because, they ain't having all that up in the prison. They had to separate them. So I went over to the pedophile department and sat with this pedophile, even crazy people you give a voice to in my business. But it blew, and let me tell you how the story got on. My voice was shut down there too, because some news director said this wasn't a story, but it had to be a story. Something went on in the news that day, and they were 3 minutes short on the news. I pulled out my drawer and pulled out big old tapes we had back then. I said, I got your 3 minutes. They didn't have a choice. We ran the story. It blew up. People had never heard. And then you remember back in the day, the Parka Daycare Center, when all the daycare centers were, and all the story blew up. Pedophilia was a big story in the early 80s, and the daycare centers were being targeted. And it was just fighting to have my own voice to give somebody else a voice. Maybe you're concerned about that young lady who got an illegal, unapproved hysterectomy up there with the ICE people. That's fucked. I'm sorry, that is so screwed up. Excuse my French. That is so screwed up. But it makes me so angry that I got to use my voice somewhere. Maybe I write a blog. Maybe I talk about it on my podcast. Maybe I just put a post in social media that says something and moves people, because your voice can create armies, people, if you believe in it enough. There was a beautiful quote. Dr. Maya Angelou, who was my auntie, and I just love her, but she was always about sticking up for the little guy. And, she was that person who said, if you are human, anything, I am human, therefore nothing human can be alien to me. And she was all about, people relating to each other, but she was really about, courage. And we've all heard her famous quote about courage, but she really wanted us to develop the courage to stand up for other people. Hey, Troy. Hey, Gloria. Come on in. She said, quote, I would encourage us to try our best to develop courage. It's the most important of all virtues, because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. You can't be anything erratically. Kind, fair, true, generous, all that. But to be that thing time after time, you need courage. And we need to develop it in small ways first. So if you decide, I will not stay in rooms where women are belittled, where races are belittled, I will not take it. I will not sit around and accept the dehumanizing of other human beings. If you decide to do that in small ways, and you continue to do it, finally, you realize you've got so much courage that people want to be around you. They get a feeling that they will be protected in your company. That's a powerful thing. To stand firmly in what you know in your heart, and to be exactly who you are unapologetically with great passion and purpose and positivity, you can move mountains. So really, it's asking the question about being vigilant about what you believe in. That's a way to find a voice. A way to use your voice, like we said, is to help somebody younger than you. You can also help a lot of people older than you. A lot of people in your community may be in an old folks home and need somebody to come read them a book, or just give a call and say a warm hello. You can use your voice to pen gratitude, to empower people, to inspire complete strangers. see some other things. Here's some ideas. There was one idea. I was like, how do you use your voice? And people, people do songs and people do poetry and people do talk shows and podcasts and vlogs. I mean, there's so many opportunities and different ways to use your voice today. But if you were to write a song or say you wrote a book, there's even some power in the voice of pain in your life. Your testimony is everything about life. We talked about that last week when we were talking about if you don't go within, you go without. And a lot of that going within we talked about gets a little mucky because it ain't always so pleasant inside. But all of that pain and muck that we have, like we talked about last week, that's the texture of our lives. That's the testimony. Like we don't go to the movie to watch a bunch of people sit around singing Kumbaya and happy. We want texture. We want the fight. We want the monster to show up and the hand to come out the grave and grab that ankle at the last minute. I mean, we like that. So the stuff we're going through, I say, we just going through the texture of our lives because this too shall pass. You remember, today is the day we were worried about last year. So nothing ate us up. Oh, you remember that, Carol? This time last year, we were like, Lord, what's going to happen in September 2020? I sure hope I see it. Well, here you are. Lift your voice and say, hallelujah. Look, like we said last week, thank God we don't look like all we've been through. And we're still going through it, y'all. This is just, honey, we're about to go in for dip number 2. So get ready. And it's going to be cold. And we're going to be stuck inside. So how will you use your voice when you want to scream at the top of your lungs because you're just crazy with this mask and all this stuff we have to do? But how will you use your voice? In other words, who will you be during this pandemic? Not just what will you do? What can't you do? Who will you be? Because there's so many people emerging right now because they're using their voices. Look at Tabitha Brown. Little old Southern girl, all she did was cook vegetarian food for her family and give a few smiles and some warmth. Now Ellen has hired her, got her in her fold, and Tabitha's about to do a talk show. A lot of the songs you're hearing on the radio today were people discovered on YouTube and IGTV, folks, and TikTok. Why? Because the casting directors, the development people, the executives, the people who have power and decision are home with nasty little kids running around just like you. And they're looking for the next big thing just like you. And their voice can say, hey, she's got something. I like her. Let's bring her in. Well, bringing you in is just doing this right now. So anybody can be brought in. You can be in Piscataway and see the guy in Hollywood in 2 minutes. Zoom him right in. So don't underestimate the power and presence of your voice. DJ Nice, look what he did in one day, 200,000 hits. Now he's millions of hits, talking with Michelle Obama about the vote. This all came from, he didn't say one word, but he used everybody else's voice and song. And everybody, the voice was, have you heard DJ Nice? So the power of what you do can activate other people's voices. DJ Nice ain't said one word. He's a DJ. He just plays music. But it was us, a million of us, who said, do you hear this man's beat of his drum? Do you hear this? We needed music then. COVID had just hit us. We were stuck in the house and dying. Maybe he heard our voice. I need. And he played. The power of voices. Amazing. Just amazing. Maybe you write that song, like I said, write that book, do that blog, and just like Dr. Maya Angelou said, and maybe DJ Nice was trying to do something nice for the world, do that voice for somebody else. You know, if you don't have the power to lift your voice for yourself, a lot of people feel weird about doing that for some reason. Well, then do it for somebody else. Do it for the little girl who doesn't have the opportunity that you have, or the young man who needs just what you have to say. You know, maybe that song or that story is about that kid who lives in a trailer park in rural West Virginia and has no representation. Or that guy who's wrongly accused again because of the color of his skin. Or that woman who just got that hysterectomy with ice. Oh, that thing makes me so mad. It's just systemic genocide. Maybe you need to lift your voice with young people because they say 62% of them don't even know about something called the Holocaust. Maybe that's how you teach. You can teach from a stump. If you're a singer, you can go in the subway and sing. There's nothing that stops you from lifting your voice. Never before could you lift it so easily. Do it your way, and it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the thing that just blows me away about this world today. They'll split a verb, and half the things they do in public. Oh, you would, Carol, you get back home, your mama would have something to say to you for about an hour. Don't go out there disrespecting us and tearing up the King's English. Honey, you can do anything today as long as you're entertaining. Look, I see people sitting up like this, eating and smacking and chewing. It's like, really? And it seems the more they smack with them big old lips and butter dripping down, eating crab, and it's like, and people will just be watching them. Now, I'm sitting up there trying to save the world. I can't get 5 million people, but they can chew a crab with butter dripping down the side of their lips, and they gonna get an audience. So that's the beauty, I think, of like a TikTok, because everybody's freaking crazy. So it doesn't matter. So that stuff, when you are worried about the voices of other people and the voices in your head that say, oh, girl, you're so silly. They're going to laugh at you. You know you're too old to be TikTok. And honey, the world is saying, honey, no. Your voice should say, watch this. Watch this. Amazing, just amazing. But the world is there. Other ways you can use your voice is to reconnect. You know, that's the thing that we love about our little reinvention retreat, is we get connected and get inspired. And that's something that we're so busy meeting new people and getting our business done that sometimes we forget to reconnect with our old friends that we don't need anything from, that aren't into the business and all that. Just somebody you can call and say, girl, you remember that time? You know, and I always say it's good to reconnect with friends, because they hold pieces of you. They hold pieces of you that you need to go back and recollect. Sometimes they're the ones who just might have that answer because they know you. To reconnect, use your voice to reconnect. Like AT&T says, reach out and touch. Reach out and touch. And that's what we all need right now. And don't forget that you may need it too. More than survival, human beings desperately need and desire connection. So reconnect. Use your voice to call an old friend. Also, one of them friends might be somebody you might need to use your voice to forgive. Now, I know that's an offshoot thing. But a lot of us, we're going within in this time of cleansing, because I don't know about y'all, but you know, a lot of people not going to make it on my list when we get up out of this COVID. I don't know about y'all, but I've been cleaning out more than my garage and my attic and some junk drawers. When I say clean out the junk drawer, you better clean out your life. I'm going through contacts. I'm like, half these people dead. Or they may be living, but they may be dead in my life. They don't belong in my contact list. That's another way your voice goes, nope. nope, nope. You ain't gonna treat me that way anymore. I've had some time to be away from you, and I see I don't really like you. I don't need you anymore. That's using your voice too. Clean up your life. But there could be people that it may make it so much easier as we're looking at who we're going to be in this time to just forgive them. You know, that's just, it's hard to sit up here by yourself, still mad at somebody you can't see. And you can't strangle them because you got to be 6 feet away from them. But it might be just going through that list and going, you know what, I'm going to forgive you today because I'm just tired of carrying this around. You renting all this apartment space in my head free. You're going to have to get on up out of here. Get on up out of here. So use your voice to do that today too. Let's see, what other notes did I have? You know, also giving a little support to somebody. You know, you can use your voice to shout out people you admire. Hey, Tamron, happy birthday. Congrats on that Emmy. Your favorite celebrities. Or maybe somebody in your church. Girl, you tore that solo up last week on the webinar. Thank you. Use that. Use your voice to say, hey, good job. I see you. I see you. I recognize you. Everybody wants to hear, you're okay. That was good. You did a good job. A pat on the back. That goes a long way because that's only going to make you feel good too. And what you put out's going to come back to you. What you put out will come right back to you. So those are so many ways to use your voice. I mean, I know I could have stood up here and said, well, you can be a speaker, which is true. Let me just, just say, I just got certified as a what do they call it? I'm an e-speaker, which basically means that I'm a certified webinar presenter, which basically means my equipment won't crap out on you if you hire me to speak. But people in the speaking arena are still speaking. I mean, my God, Tony Robbins just did a thing and he spoke to 70,000 people at one time. I said, that's some kind of Zoom system he's got. But but people are still doing what they're doing. You're seeing so many of these webinars now, these retreats, these 3-day virtual retreats. In fact, I'm about to do a retreat called Reimagine Love. Now, can you imagine of all people they had talked about love? But here I'm going in. I'm reinventing myself in the love department. But it's about reimagining love. And my thing is, you have to reimagine your own life before you can start adding people on. And, but it's going to be a fun retreat that my girlfriend is doing, Angela Holton. It's on October 2nd to 3rd. I'm the keynote speaker. And she wants me to do some stand-up comedy. So come on, that'll be fun. But she's got some really good people, including John Gray, who did Women from Mars and Men from Venus, or whatever they did, Women from Venus, Men from Mars, that guy. A lot of relationship people. So if you are reimagining or reinventing your love life, because reinvention, I say, goes from the bedroom to the boardroom, is everywhere. That might be something you want to check out. Even if you're single, there's some great information. If you are in a relationship, there's going to be some good support and, just another good community, a good fun day. It's 3 days. You can go 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, but check it out. It's called Reimagine Love Retreat. The Reimagine Love Retreat. But anyway, that'll be fun. But yeah, so I forgot what I was saying. But what I was saying is that even if you were speaking, and there was a lane that you were in, something that may help promote your business or some philanthropic thing that really inspires you or a political position you want to take, start writing some speeches. You can deliver a speech right here on camera and start sending it out to people to show what you do. You can do your own speech right here. It's crazy. Isn't that crazy? It used to be they wanted to see you give a speech and they wanted to see you in the room. But right now you can stand there and say, you know what? I am really upset about ICE and these hysterectomies, or I'm really concerned about diversity in the workplace. Will this last beyond the Black Lives Matter movement? I mean, give your position, lift your voice, sear it through that camera with passion and purpose and direction. And with the enthusiasm and you being so interested, you gonna get me interested. I'm gonna listen. Next thing you know, you might be in that circuit. So start, if there's a lane that you like, start examining, researching that circuit. There are probably webinars going on, conferences going on, retreats going on in your lane that you can be a part of and lift your voices in the places that you fit. Don't underestimate the power of these Facebook groups, y'all, and the power of these hashtags. Facebook got a group for everything. Everything. You got a toe fetish. I know there's a page for that. I don't know what it is, but there's your people are out there. Shout out, use your voice to say, where are my people? I need my tribe right now. I need some help. Right? I mean, I can sit here and listen, courage, like Auntie Maya talked about, I can encourage you, but only you can give you courage. I can sit here all day long and I can never give you the courage that you need. You have to do that. But I can encourage you to make that be on the top of your list to do when we get off this thing. So use your voice to find your folks, find your tribe, find your comfort zone, find your business, your sweet spot, as I call it. Those are your business people. That's where you're going to make your money. That's where you're going to get the research that you need, the help that you need, the accountability partners you need, because y'all are all thinking the same stuff. Support yourself, surround yourself with people of like minds. That's where you're going to find your mentorship. People you can ask questions to, people you can ask the silly question to. The only silly question is the one that's left unasked, if you ask me. Let me tell you, my business of 40 years in news and entertainment, I've asked a bunch of silly questions, but I've gotten great answers. So don't ever forget that, that being around shared voices is just as empowering as using your own, you know? That's good stuff too. So those are 50 million ways. It would say, you know, the obvious are speaking and podcasting and singing and preaching. There may be something that really touches your heart on a spiritual level, that you really have something to say. And right now you can set up your phone and just start talking away. You can go live on IG and start talking away, but use your voice this week. That's your takeaway. Use your voice this week in a way that you have never used it before. I tell you another great thing to do. And you talk about making money. If you can get it, it's good. Voice acting. And you know that is my passion and love. My voice acting, I love it. And you know, I think it's so symbolic because that was one of my pivot moves in my reinvention. You know, as a reinventionist, and who was an actor, we were going through a strike, one of the longest strikes in Hollywood, and I just had to keep moving. I'd moved out here to Los Angeles after my talk show to be an actor, and was hit by the longest strike in Hollywood. The writers went on strike. And Lord, I went from being an internationally syndicated talk show host to serving pizza on a pizza line to my union members. But that was my choice, and here I was, and I had to come up with something quick, something to do. And so I started taking a course on voice acting just to keep my chops going. And I'm going to tell you, when that cloud lifted, I was in a whole different place and had a different set of skills. And I haven't stopped since. Y'all know me on Judge Joe Brown and Divorce Court and Temptation. I'm Professor Wiseman on Curious George. I'm in Lego City Adventure, Madagascar. My clients are Google, worked with Tyler Perry, McDonald's, Wells Fargo. I had an audition at 8 o'clock this morning. Had to get up at 6 to get my voice right. But we're still working, and we're working even more because people are inside. Audiobooks have blown up. E-learning has blown up. This is where all the voice work is. So let me just throw this in. I am offering, my fall session starts up of my voice acting masterclass. If any of you are interested in voice acting, honey, let's connect and let's talk about it. It's a 6-week course. It's 90 minutes a week. And we get in there and you're going to learn everything from which mic to get and how to set up your at-home sweet spot, your sacred spot where you're going to do your recordings. You're going to learn about all the different genres of voices in the voice acting arena. And you're going to figure out what lane you're in. We're going to work copy. You're going to learn how to break down a script, how to break down a character. We're going to work everything from commercials to gaming to audiobooks, so that by the time you finish those 6 weeks, you will be in a totally different place in the voice industry. You'll be ready to get that calling card, which is called a voiceover demo reel. That'll be your next step, because that is to a voice actor what like a headshot is to a regular actor. It's your calling card to get you in the game. But it just will open all kinds of opportunities for you. And if it's a career move you want to make, great. If it's a hobby, you've always heard you had a nice voice, you'd like to see what this acting is all about, to put with that nice voice and see what happens. Come on, let's do it. The equipment, why should you do it? The equipment does not have to cost you a lot of money. I'm not going to have you spend over $200 on a mic, not in the beginning. It's something you can do from home. In fact, it's something you can do from anywhere. I mean, I have done my career from Paris. I've done it in Turks and Caicos. I've done it traveling in hotels. It's something you can do from anywhere. And it's also something you can do in your pajamas, and you can do it until you're 100 years old. And it's just plain fun. If you get one good job and those residuals come in, oh my God, I can't even begin to tell you. Also in my course, I bring in wonderful people who are vets in the industry. Last session, we had Dave Fenoy, who's big in gaming. He's the lead in Walking Dead. We had Carol Kimball come in. She's one of the top casting directors here in Hollywood. So it's a really wonderful course, and I'm really proud of it. My students don't even want to leave. They want me to do a second course where we just come in and work it out. But for right now, we've got this course. It's starting in fall. We're only a couple of weeks away. I don't take a bunch of people. I only take like 10 to 12 people, so we really get some intimacy going. And I already have a few people who've signed up. It's a wonderful gift to give to somebody who may be looking for direction. We have a lot of young people who got out of college and don't have any place to go, but still have dreams, and they're at home. So this is something that they can do. One of the things that I love about it is it also keeps you busy doing something creative and positive, doing something new, stretching out your voice. You can use that kind of information and strength anywhere in your life. Your voice is everything in your life. You ever hear people who talk like this in little Mickey voice? I can't stand that. Oh, Lord, if I hear them in the news, I will take something and literally throw it at the TV. I can't take it. I can't take little mealy voices. But, I say you should have a little power behind your voice, a little gravitas to it, and also know how to control your voice. Next to your brain, your voice is the most tremendous instrument on your body. And it has a lot of power, and being able to control that is everything. I have a minister who signed up for my class. She said, you know what? I'm a sister of 5 boys, and I'm from Brooklyn. And she goes, and I have the hardest voice. And she goes, and I'm doing ministry where empathy and compassion would be nice touch to my voice. And I said, well, listen, empathy and compassion is everything that's happening in commercials right now. So we're learning that as voice actors too. They don't want the large stuff anymore. They want people with regular voices that sound comforting and soothing. Comfort and soothing and empathy is everything right now, y'all. That's why they bring in Drew Barrymore to do a talk show. That's why they bring in Jay Leno back to go do a game show, because people need some comfort stuff now. And that's in voices too, we're finding. All the businesses are turning in new kind of commercials because their businesses have had to change because of COVID and BLM too. So our characters are different, our voices are different, and there's never been a better time to break into this business. Is it going to be easy? Are you going to get an agent when you leave my class? I doubt it. You're not going to immediately walk out of my class without a demo reel and get an agent. Let's be realistic, okay? But you're going to really get a good basic understanding of not only the show of voice acting, but the business of voice acting too. It's something, a business. I've been in broadcasting and news and entertainment for 40 years, voice acting for 20, almost 20, 25, because I've been Professor Wiseman going on almost 20 years. Isn't that something? My audience is 1 to 101, because these kids are watching Curious George are now 20 if they started on me. Ain't that something? You never know, and they never know the power of your voice. I also play Ilawi. I'm a champion on the League of Legends. It's $1 billion game. I don't know anything about gaming, but I'm one of the champions. And some kids the other day they wanted to give a gift to somebody and wanted to use my voice. And so I talked as a Lawi. I gave them what they wanted, you know. And I do that on Cameo using my voice as Professor Wiseman to tell kids to do their homework. I mean, it's amazing. So sometimes your voice is a whole different entity that can work when they may not be calling me in to play a character, but they want my voice to come in and play the game. Isn't that crazy? So it's how we can take what we have and split it up into different ways. And that's going within and finding those gifts. And a lot of times we do it because we want to. And just like you heard about my voice career, because you have to. You know, it's a wonderful thing sometimes to be pressed upside the wall. Right? You're either going to use that voice to scream for help, or you're going to say, oh, hell to the no. Don't do that with my neck no more. I'm not having it. You know, to make some choices with our voices. That's what I say. But yeah, so look, if you're interested in the voice acting business and it's something you might want to do, come on, because I'm taking enrollment right now. I would suggest that you email me, or you can direct message me. Please email me. It's so much easier to keep up with. Rolonda, ROLONDA @rolonda.com. Just that easy. Just hit me up. Hey, Ro, I'm interested. Talk to me. What's up? And I can tell you all about it. Okay, D, we need to talk. We need to talk. Absolutely. Good stuff. Good stuff. Any questions, y'all? Tell me, you have any questions at all, either about the voice acting masterclass or about anything about voice, or do you have a good share that you want to tell us about? A success this week, or something about how you're using your voice, or
I just wanted to quickly say, I think it's so ironic that you were in Girl 6, and that's a movie all about using the voice, and then now
do sex operators.
That was because I saw that in the movie that I remember you were in it, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness! And now that was 1996, so that was 24 years ago, and that's all about the voice. So
all about the voice. Isn't that crazy? And do you know that when that movie was made, Girl 6 with Spike Lee, do you know who all was in that movie? Madonna, Halle Berry, Quentin Tarantino. I mean, all these actors, and they were new. Everybody was new. Was in there, and I interviewed. They said, we've got this new actress. We're going to give her a role in this movie. And Ro, you're going to interview her. And I said, okay. And I said, what's her name? They said, Halle Berry. And so that scene with us, when I'm interviewing her about the little girl who falls down the elevator shaft, that was her first coming out movie. And Madonna, I mean, I was like, who are all these? I couldn't believe we were Naomi Campbell. We were all little no names back then doing this movie with Spike. Spike knew what he was doing. And I tell you what, that is so funny. But let me tell you, don't underestimate the power of a good sex phone call, because that's going through the roof right now. Everybody's horny. Come on, admit it. You're horny. I'm horny. We're all horny. And so the phone calls are going up. If you think about it, you know, using my voice in comedy, that's another thing. We were so thrown with this whole virus for comedians. I mean, I was scheduled to perform at the Gotham in New York. We were going on tour with this 420 weed cannabis comedy thing. And boy, when COVID hit and I got stuck out in LA and no more crowds, and you know, those little comedy clubs, that is a COVID disaster waiting to happen. So, how do you reinvent the voice of comedy? How do you do that? Yeah, we're all going through it, folks. All going through it. So, how do you take it? Maybe before we end, I did a little COVID comedy I might share with you as we kick off the thing, but I'll show y'all some of my comedy because we're just doing, you got, that it's like, when you got that thing and you just got to get it out. And for me, it's a voice. So sometimes we just sit in front of the camera and start talking and see what happens. But that happens. Anybody else? What else you got to say? Any other shares?
I would say I use my voice by doing my Bible study prayer line on Wednesdays. As a
That's
deacon,
wonderful.
as a deacon in my church, we talk about what everybody's doing in COVID times right now.
Well,
We
that's
talk
a
about
lot of inspiration and comfort. I think
yeah,
that don't forget how you can offer comfort so much at this
so
time.
true.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jen. Anybody
Yep.
else?
Ivy's sound spots tonight, Thursday, 7
Okay.
p.m. on Facebook. Ivy Hilton
Oh yeah, Ivy.
sound
That
spot.
Ivy uses her voice. We have she does sound bowls. She's one of the gals in our reinvention retreat, and also she took my voice acting class. She is an operatic singer. I have never seen anything like it. I met Ivy in India studying. I went there to deliver a speech for the Global Peace Summit talking about divine leadership, and she was there to sing at the Peace Summit. And it was interesting, there you go again, how we were using our gifts and our messages and our voices. And this woman, oh, if you just could hear Ivy
It's
singing,
amazing.
oh, she is just ridiculous. I mean, just crazy good. And she took my voice acting master class because bring she wanted to speak the way and have the impact that she does in singing. And also with ministry and the sound bowls, that's being able to control your voice and really finding your bass so that you become a sound bowl. You become a walking, healing thing. When you heard Maya Angelou speak, you were healed. You hear Viola Davis speak, you're healed. Sojourner Weaver. There's certain people, Morgan Freeman, they're just certain people, Sidney Poitier, you just hear their voices. It's just, oh, and that's the power in it. But yeah, Ivy does her sound bowls on Thursday night, and that's something to enjoy. And let's just go on and embrace this too, that sometimes the power of the voice is just not saying nothing. Sometimes the greatest response is no response. And that doesn't mean you shut up. You're just being quiet. You're reserving your voice.
I put it in the chat so everybody could see it.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you so much. But sometimes the power of it doesn't mean you're voiceless. Let's don't get that confused. Doesn't mean you're bowing down, cowing down, being a coward. It don't mean anything like that. But just sometimes holding your voice in reserve has a tremendous amount of power as well. When you're doing those business meetings, they hear you loud and clear, even whether you use your voice or not. So think about how your voice is. How will you use your voice in your next negotiation? One things you learn, like in voice acting, is anger isn't always up here with decimals. Sometimes all you have to say is this. It's fun to learn those little things about your voice and the power that comes in sometimes a silent rumble. Stuff like that. It's really fascinating. But it's a great career, and it's a wonderful class, and it's a great investment in yourself, I think. Whether you do want it as a hobby or a full-blown career, It's something good to do. Something good to do. You will get your return. Anybody else got something to say? Because we're coming down the wire.
I
Coming
do.
down the
I
wire.
have a question. So
Okay.
how do you know if you have the right pitch and tone in your voice to become a voice actor?
I think the closer you are to your own pitch and tone, which is not in any way supposed to be perfect, that is the best. You know, every voice is as unique as a snowflake. They're no two alike. I'm known for my raspiness, which I thought was the worst thing a voice could have. Gravelly, raspy, deep. But that's what they pay for. That and the smile in my voice. I have a lot of smile in my voice. So they pay for that too. But what it is, and I think what is so beautiful about taking a good master class, you can take my class, you take the 50 million people. But I think the beautiful thing about learning through a master class is you find that sweet, juicy spot in your voice. What is it that makes your voice so unique? And you work that. It's all about acting. It's not about the quality of your voice. In fact, today, they don't want polished voices. They want somebody who's like your girlfriend, your auntie, somebody you talking to, girl, look, well, I went to the grocery store the other day and I saw this sale and I thought it was great. You know, they just want like you're talking over. They don't want voices they've heard before. That's why I think it's so good right now too to get in the business, because they want brand new, fresh, unpolished voices. So the more quirky you think you are, in fact, the more you think you don't belong, that's probably how much more you do.
Okay.
I promise you that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Start listening to commercials and stuff. Just listen to them. They, you know, that's the it's they, you know, the copy may say, and the sale is $2.99 by Thursday. People don't talk like that. It's like it's $2.99 by Thursday. Girl, you better go on down there, because that's the way we talk. We don't. I don't ask a professional. I ask you, where'd you get those shoes, Ross? Which one? And they got a coupon over there for 99 cents off. Oh, okay, thanks. That's the way they want a commercial. So that's what our work is, to make it as non-work as possible. So come on, Antoinette, I want to see you in my class. Hit me up, DM me, email me, and if you want to talk and have some more questions, and I can go through everything we're going to cover in the class and all of that good stuff and answer any other questions for you. Anybody else?
No, ma'am. I'm just trying to get to that class.
Trying to get to that class? Oh, who's
Yes.
that, Chuck? Chuck, you going to take that class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yay! Good. Chuck, tell me about yourself. What do you do? What brings you to the voice business?
Changing over, wanting to add an additional stream of income as I've gotten older. I've been a coach. I've been a Sunday school teacher, and wanted to make sure that I got a chance to use my voice in a connecting, authoritative type manner for people, and definitely being able to put it in different formats for another stream of income as I've gotten later in life would be a great opportunity for me. And just as I was looking for it, what do you know? I flipped through a friend of mine. Wow, what is her name? A friend of mine on Facebook. We run together. She's a run coach, and she had Nikki Rodriguez, and you were in her picture. She posted a picture of you and her together. And so once I saw that picture, I was like, wow, that's right, because I've heard of your voice in so many different caricatures and animations. Looked you up on Instagram, and then got in touch with you for this webinar.
Wonderful. Well, Chuck, we have a good time in that class, and I love your voice. I think you have a lot of great energy in that voice. You could do so much, from promos to animation to e-learning. You know, the different characters you could play. You could play a coach. You could play the dad. You could play the, you know. So that's the kind of stuff we do. We hear the juicy part in your voice, and we work it. I'll be giving you all kinds of scripts you'll work, so you'll really be able to work, and then you'll be able to get that demo reel. And that's the thing that says, I'm in the business. And we also talk about ways in social media to promote our brand and to let people know this is something that we're doing, and we're taking it very seriously. And there are all kinds of voice. We're finding, follow hashtags like on IG, voiceover talent. Follow that hashtag. Start getting in there and looking what people are saying, and because we're starting to start getting that all in your brain, because that we're going in.
Right.
It's really intense. One of my students said, "Rolonda, I feel like I'm getting a doctorate in voice." I said, "Girl, I'm from Columbia University and Spelman College. I am not playing with y'all's education." And you're going to have fun. And you will be in a totally different place and so proud of yourself in those 6 weeks. I promise you.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to be starting in the next couple of weeks. So,
Right.
yeah, we're filling up. I'm so excited, Chuck. Okay, listen, y'all. We got 5 minutes left. I got 5 minutes of funny for you just to wrap up everything. I love you all so much. This is always so much fun. Stay on the list so when we have our next topic and our next gathering, you'll be right there on it. I'm going to send out the replay. Feel free to share it with somebody you think might need a little lift today. Spread out to everybody about the voice acting masterclass. Listen to RolondaOnDemand.com, my podcast. Follow me in social media, and my audiobook is coming out soon. Another way to use my voice and to also promote my book and put two talents together. And Destiny Lingers will be an audiobook in the next few weeks. I got a couple of chapters to tweak, and then that's it. Okay, but another way to use your voice is when things are so screwed up and the truth hurts so badly, you can make it funny. And sometimes that's what people do. Most comedians are so pissed off. It's being pissed off about stuff that makes stuff so funny because it's so true. And so us comedians, we comedians, however you say it, are lifting our voices, even though they aren't heard by crowds, they can be heard by you. Enjoy, and I'll see you guys next week. We're going to share.
Thank you, Rolonda.
You are so welcome, honey. I appreciate you guys so much. I really do. All right, I'm going to share my screen now. Am I sharing it? Did I share it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, honey, don't look at my messy screen. But there we are. Okay. All right, y'all have a good one and enjoy this little diddly.
Thank you.
Bye, honey.
Bye,
This is-
Rolonda. See you in New York.
Oh, I know.
Keep staying young, Ian.
Thank you. I called to get some technical support on a product the other day, and the guy sounded like he just rolled out of bed. He was like, "Hello." I was like, "Hello." He had that morning voice. "Hello." I was like, "Well, clear your voice and help me with my product and get your ass out of bed. It's 10 o'clock. Business hours, despite coronavirus." Yeah, honey, things are truly different. And here in Hollywood, this is the only time ever in life an actor will stand outside of Gelson's grocery store in front of the entire line and go, "I'm a senior citizen," just because they want to get a pork chop before anybody else. Ain't nobody telling nobody they're senior citizens in Hollywood until coronavirus. Better get that meat while you can. I don't know. A lot of people giving up meat. Now look, I ain't giving up my pork chops. I'll give up the red meat, but I ain't giving up the pink meat. I called my mama in North Carolina. I said, "Mom, we eating healthy now, trying to get that immunity system up. You know, black folks are dying of coronavirus." I said, "I'm eating organic collard greens now." She said, "Well, that's good, baby. You got an organic ham hock to go with it?" Ain't nobody giving up that pork in North Carolina. But you never know. Those things might change. Those things might change. But I tell you this. Come on, tell the truth. Everybody's horny. Come on. I'm horny. You horny. Everybody's horny. I'm going to tell you the truth. I have had some of the best sex ever in my life during this lockdown. With myself. I know you too. I had such great sex with myself the other night. I could have sworn I have become the man I wanted to marry. And you know why that sex was so good? Because I listen and I take my time. I got that 20 minutes of foreplay down pat. I had such good sex with myself the other night. I went and ordered myself some lingerie and jewelry online. Told myself, "Bitch, you keep this up, I'm going to buy your ass a car when this coronavirus is over." Look like I missed the right for right now. But you know something? Whoever I'm going to get with, because they say the dating sites are up. I might have to get my profile on. Whoever I get with, they going to have to be locked up with a menopausal woman. Woo! I feel sorry for y'all locked up with menopausal women. Because sometimes the only difference between us and a rabid pit bull is lipstick. You didn't know your wife was that ravenous. She was trying to tell you her hormones was off. Now you see it. Mm-hmm. All them hot flashes, the cover on and off. I swear that menopause is life's way of preparing us for hell. Have you ever felt temperatures that hot in your freaking life?
Mm-hmm.
I think even Mother Nature is going through menopause.
It's a women only thing.
Yeah, I tell you. And your attitude sucks. Ooh, your attitude just sucks. I'll be sitting there listening to people talking, just talking. And I'm thinking to myself, would you just shut the fuck up? And I'll cut you. I'll cut you on menopause. I'll come visit you in the hospital, bring you some pie, and ask you how your mom and them is. But I will cut your ass on a bad menopausal day. Just, I tell you.
Ain't right to treat women that way.
I forget it. Some of y'all are too young.
Amen.
But, you know, even though you have not gone through menopause yet, I bet you've seen it. Like, you know, when you go, hey, Ma, and she goes, what the hell do you want now? Well, honey.
That might have been.
Or you know, when you FaceTime your grandma now during coronavirus, and she's like, hey, baby.
Yeah.
Forgot your name. Can't nobody remember nobody's name during menopause. That's why everybody is Sweetie, Boo Boo, and Honey Kitty. Because can't nobody remember y'all's names. Woo, I think I'm having a flash right now. Look, this is all I can say. This stuff, this too shall pay. And we're going to be better for it. I do believe that. But all I can say is I sure am glad I got caught in lockdown in the state of California, where there's plenty of wine, plenty of CBD, and a whole heap of weed. Oh, y'all be safe now, you hear?
Help yourself, bro. Help yourself.
Go ahead, Rolonda.
Y'all be good now, you hear?
All right, man.
Bravo, Ro.
Fantastic.
Awesome job, bro. Love you.
Phenomenal.
Love
See you
you.
soon.
Love you guys too. Have a
All
good
right.
one, okay?
Have a good
Love
one.
you.
Yeah,
All
love
right.
you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Oh, my cheeks hurt.
Use your voice.
Bye,
Yes.
Rolonda.
Bye.